Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, voice girl, and welcome once again to another edition of the Man Space Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, is my co-host who announced today that he too is dropping out of the Republican presidential primary.
That's true, American people. Today, I've decided to eliminate my race for public office. I don't think my name was on most ballots anyway. I didn't get,
You didn't get the write-in vote?
I didn't get the right in because there was some
Come on, Iowa.
Come on, it
New.
It was just a technical error this time.
New Hampshire.
Yeah,
y'all didn't write my man in.
Man, they played me like a deck of cards. They said, "Who is this joker?" You know what I'm saying? Slung me out the door.
I didn't have any respect for, I'm not going to name him, but the Florida governor.
Oh, God.
Beforehand. Yeah. But for him to swing his support after everything to OOMF, that just is beyond me. I'm just like, if you sit there and you tell me for months that this person is not qualified, and then all of a sudden you say, well, we're going to support him.
Right.
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
No.
Why am I supporting you?
I'm sorry. Some things are beyond party.
Yeah.
And
that's all party right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you need to take a stand, grow a set, and stand up for once in your life and be just, do the right thing instead of trying to save your job by voting with the party.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah.
No. Well, I feel the same way about that other one too, though.
Oh, is that Tim Scott?
Man, Yuck Mouth better go sit down somewhere.
That Motisa, him running up there. Motisa, get the heck out of here, man.
Yes, some balls. Yeah. Put that there up on that name. Put that there up on that name. Remind me, boy, for everybody don't know where that line came from. I'm missing a couple words, but the Django.
Yes.
Samuel Jackson was trying to describe what's his name? Jamie Foxx. Put that there up on that name. That's him. All day.
But at the time we are recording this, this Sunday could be a very happy or very sad time for you, Les.
It could be.
It could. We are at the precipice because the Detroit Lions are one win away from the Super Bowl.
Yes, we are one
win away.
1 win away. Just to be at the Super Bowl, just to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
this is already amazing. It is an amazing season.
And before the season started, I went up to Detroit and I was talking to some folks just right before during the preseason. I was talking to some of the locals and stuff, and they were just upset. They were ready to get rid of the coach. I'm like, listen, calm down.
Take time.
Y'all gonna be fine.
Yeah,
y'all gonna be fine because you established an identity, and that's what it takes, man. It takes you gotta look at a team when you want to be a successful team for years and years. You establish an identity.
That's right.
And man, this team, they're getting it.
Yeah, man. Finally.
I would not be surprised if they walk in and beat San Francisco.
I wouldn't either. But I'm going to tell you, I have great hopes for my team. Great hopes. And anything going forward is nothing but a pure blessing. That's it. That's how I'm going to take it. My cup runneth over in joy for the Detroit Lions. Look, right. Right there. See him right there? See him right there in the background?
Yeah, I see. For those that are watching, oh well, for those that are listening instead of watching us on YouTube, he, he has
What?
the Detroit written across his back screen and has
Yes.
the logos of all the different teams in
Yes.
Detroit into the word Detroit. So
That's right.
you're not
That's
watching. But then again, maybe you should be watching this on YouTube. So flip over to tv.themanspacepodcast.com and
right. Yeah, baby. I don't know what that was,
so,
but it
so
was.
let me ask you.
Yeah.
That was kind of weak, so I'm not even going to address it.
Yeah, please. I felt a certain kind of way after it came out. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, that was
I,
a little
that's
soft.
one of those like, man, I hope Russ edits that out.
Yeah, I think you're gonna take that one out.
Yeah, I'm not.
You are?
But does Miss Les watch the games with you?
No,
She does not watch them with you.
she
Okay.
does not. She's not a football fan. She's not
Mhm.
she's supportive.
Okay.
She's supportive, but she
Mhm.
is not a fan. You know,
Okay.
and what I mean by that is she makes sure I'm set up for everything.
Right.
Whatever I need or want,
Mhm.
I have for my game.
Mhm.
So whatever meal needs to be cooked, sit down,
Right.
baby, watch your game. I got it. Because we
Okay.
normally cook together,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know. So
Mhm.
it's sit down, let me get it. You need
Okay.
something, here's this, here's that.
Mhm.
Come and check on me if I'm down there making too much noise. You okay? You know.
Right. Do we need to send her a message to come and give you some extra hugs this weekend?
Nah, ain't gonna be no extra hugs.
Bring some Kleenex.
She gonna
Because
have me.
one way or another, man, you might be shedding a tear. Because either you're going to the
Yeah,
Super
man.
Bowl or you're losing, so you might be shedding a tear.
Either way, it's gonna be a glorious moment for me. And I'm gonna accept it, whatever it is, with cognac and a
Mm.
cigar in hand, standing on my back porch, praising, saying thank you for the season.
All right. Hey, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you.
I appreciate that.
I was telling my wife that, I when the playoffs was going on, I'm like, well, I'm gonna root for the teams in the cities I've been to, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like I've been to Baltimore, I've been to
Yeah,
Detroit, I've been to San Francisco, and
yeah.
then I haven't been to Kansas City, so they're out. So I'm not rooting for them.
I ain't
But
rooting for
then
Kansas City either.
I'm like, well, what happens when two teams play like you know, uh, Kansas City? I mean, Detroit and San Francisco,
Yeah.
and she's like, you know how you do, root for the black quarterback. I'm like, well, I'm
Well,
like,
in
in
that
this
case,
case, there isn't one, between these two, but
well, Jared Goff, he got that identity now. You know what I'm saying?
he got a
For the
little
city.
swagger.
He got a little
He got a little
swagger.
swagger.
You know,
Yeah.
he got his buff frames on, and everybody don't know what those are. Those are
No.
classic Detroit glasses. The
Okay.
buffs,
Okay. The
you
buffs.
know,
Okay. All
they
right.
call them the buffs, you
Okay.
know.
All right. I got to
Eh,
remember that one when I go back up there.
Yeah,
I'm
they
gonna ask
keep
some people.
wood grain
Uh-huh.
buffs, you know
The
what I
buffs.
mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anybody from
All right.
Detroit to tell you what the buffs are.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that one.
Yeah.
That's like when I was in the military,
Mhm.
and this guy was like, "Where you from?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Alabama." He said, "You ain't from Alabama." He says, "I'm from Alabama." He's from Alabama, but you ain't from Alabama. He says, "What part of Alabama you from?" I said, "The Gump."
Uh-huh.
He says, "I ain't never heard of the Gump." I said, "Well, if you don't know what the Gump is, then you're not from
You're not from
Alabama."
Alabama. There you go.
He
There
said,
you
"They
go.
said you right. You called me out on it. I didn't expect you to do that in public."
That's it.
He- He's like, "I'm from Mississippi, but I like to claim Alabama."
See, there you go. There you go. There you go.
So yeah, so I
Yeah.
got to remember that the buff.
That's a
I'll
buffs.
try to.
The Cartier glasses. Buff.
Okay, okay,
Wood, I wanted to call them rails, but
mhm,
sidearms, whatever you want to
okay,
call these
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just trying to tell you, man. They just,
Okay,
and we do
okay,
that, and we do. And the most disrespectful thing I saw last week in this during this
okay.
game
Hmm.
was a young man doing a dance that is from Detroit,
Okay.
from the opposing team.
Okay.
He was doing a dance called the Blade Icewood. He was a
The Blade
local
Icewood. Okay.
Blade, yeah, Blade. He was a local rapper
Can
back
you
in the
show
day.
us? Can you
Yeah,
zoom out and show us
yeah.
that dance?
I can just do it just like this. This the Blade, baby. He was doing it, but he was doing it like this, like he was, like he
Uh,
was,
uh,
like a bunny rabbit.
uh,
But the Blade, that's
uh,
the
uh,
Blade, baby.
uh,
Blade
okay.
Icewood. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm getting
Yeah.
excited right now. Hey, goosebumps.
Okay.
Goosebumps. Talking about my city. I want to go jump on Mr. Chime Time real quick.
Yeah, he's
You
still
know.
up there.
Yeah, yeah. He carry a blinky, so I'm gonna have to catch him off guard.
Hey, he's been fair though. He's been fair. The only thing he's really well, I'm not gonna say he hasn't trashed a
No,
few
he done
places. He
he done he
he's
done trashed some
he's
places in the
he's
city,
he
boy.
has trashed some places. He has trashed some places, but you know
Man,
what?
he
The one
hurt.
the one thing he's always gonna trash,
Yeah, White
White
Castle.
Castle.
Yeah, I knew it. I already knew that. I
White
knew
Castle.
that was coming. I knew that was. But you know what it is? I'll just be real with you. Is every place you go has a taste, and
Hmm.
there's people in the city are used to that taste, that what
Right.
that is. So somebody that comes from out of town may not like it. Like I didn't like
That
Chicago
is true.
dogs. I didn't like Chicago dogs at first.
Yeah.
It had to wear on me because I was like, why are you putting lettuce and tomatoes
Hmm.
on a hot dog?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
That's like going to New York and getting a dirty dog.
Yeah,
First time I saw it, I'm like, I ain't eating that. Like,
exactly.
no.
Exactly. Everybody got that, like, like they chop cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hamburger patty with cheese,
Hmm.
and they put it in a hot dog bun
Yeah.
or a hoagie roll or whatever you
A
want to
hoagie
call it.
roll. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, cuz.
Hmm.
That's what we ate them back in the day because we didn't have hamburger buns. All we had was hot dog buns. You know what I'm saying? My first chicken sandwich was a piece of Wonder Bread with a chicken leg stuck in it with some hot sauce on it, cuz. You know what I'm saying? That's that's where I come from. You know what I
Dog,
mean?
that's every black household.
It
You
is.
know, everyone that is above the age of 30 has done that.
Absolute. I still do it. I don't know what you're talking about, cuz. I
Dog.
still do it.
I'm gonna say something that I used to
Yeah.
do. Now I haven't done this in a long time.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I used to do this.
Uh-oh.
I used to do this when I was single.
This is
You know,
breaking alert right here.
yeah,
Breaking
yeah.
news.
Don't tell nobody this.
All
Don't tell
right, tell me
nobody
about
this.
it. Tell me about it.
But I used to take spaghetti and throw it up in some bread.
Who didn't? Who
It
didn't?
makes
Who didn't?
man, that was good eating.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you something my auntie turned me on to when
What's
I was a
that?
kid, right? Because I
Hmm.
could cook it myself.
Okay.
Have you ever had macaroni and cheese where mama cooked too many elbows, too much
No,
pasta? No,
no,
she ain't never had
no,
no extra pasta. Sit to the
no,
side.
no.
No? Well, mine did. We went
Mm.
overboard, right?
Okay. All right.
So my auntie taught me. I don't know if she was just messing with me or what, but it done stuck to me. Because when I
Mm-hmm.
was po,
Mm-hmm.
macaroni noodles was only $1.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't even $1. But you take the macaroni noodles, right?
Mm-hmm.
You melt you some butter in a bowl. Okay.
Okay.
Take them raw, not raw, but on the cooked elbows, macaroni elbows,
Mm-hmm.
dump them over in the butter. Okay.
Okay.
And salt and pepper and mix
Mm-hmm.
that thing up
Okay.
and eat them just like that.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah, not many people. I think my
Yeah.
auntie was messing with me when she taught me that.
Yeah. Yeah. You've gone too far.
That was going too
You.
far because
Yeah.
I
You've
just
gone too
did it a
far.
couple of days ago. My
Yeah.
wife,
Yeah.
my
No.
wife made
No.
macaroni and cheese Sunday, and I was like, yeah. Let me get them extra elbows.
Yeah, dog. No. You're on your own on that
That's
one.
why.
Man, Space
The,
Nation, y'all
that's
chime
why the
in if y'all
Lions
done
won.
this one.
That's why the
Yeah.
Lions won because I was eating them as I was watching the game.
That
You know I'm doing it again next week. This week. No
Go
boil
for
ups.
it, man. Go
Man, ain't
for
no
it.
difference than elbow noodles and ramen.
No, there's a huge difference between
There's
elbow
no
noodles.
there's no difference.
No,
It's pasta.
no,
It's
it's
pasta. It's all the
no,
same to me, dog.
no, no.
I just put some salt and pepper on there and some butter and sit down and eat it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be hungry.
Have you gone through and seen like all these folks doing the seafood boil ramens and the
Yeah,
cage? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Have you tried any of that yet?
yeah. We've had it a few times.
What you think about it?
I think it's okay. I think it's overrated and it's highly
Mm,
overpriced. You
really?
know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
oh, you talking about
Yeah.
going out? You're not
I
making it
ain't
at
doing it at
home.
the home. Oh no, 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 no.
Okay.
No, I go out and go get it.
Okay. Now I've gone to like the ramen houses and tried like the different, ramen, not like gone
Yeah.
out and found like the seafood boil ramen. No,
Yeah.
we live in the country. We don't have that kind of stuff out here.
Well, I'm I'm
We
I'm in
just
the
got a straight
country.
ramen house.
I had to go
But
travel to it. I had to travel
but
to it.
here, I've made it at home
Oh,
and,
okay.
and yeah, and it's actually turned out pretty good by doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, listen, my wife don't eat all seafood, right?
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
so I'm kind of restricted to the
Hmm.
things I could get with her because here's my thing though. You buy one bag, it's still $30 if you buy it with, So I'm like, yeah, well, I guess my issue is I'm a little cheap when it comes to
That
that
we
stuff.
know.
Yeah,
With that we know. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm just a tad bit cheap with that. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Because I'm like $30 with
Hmm.
some shrimp and some sausage and some
Yeah.
corn and potatoes, and
Yeah.
I got to add more eggs. I'm like, dog, come on, cuz. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then you charge me like $2 an egg. That's a whole carton. That's a whole dozen for $2. I'm only getting one. Man, come on, man. Them things shouldn't be no more than 15 cents. And
Yeah.
you
Okay.
still turning a profit.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, come on, man. $2 for a boiled egg. Eh, that ninja crazy, dog. That could be taken the wrong way.
That
I
could be.
apologize for saying that. I do sincerely apologize. That could be
God.
taken the
Okay.
wrong way. That could be, misappropriation of the word.
Misappropriation of words. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna regroup and come back because Man Space Nation, we got a special guest coming up after the break. Man Space Nation. So last week we were doing the happiness show, and in there was a question that came up about money and finances, and so we had the conversation that we were going to do a show today about money and helping you kind of save more money for this year. Sometimes we got to bring in somebody that knows more about it than us. So today we got a special guest that's joining us. She is a dynamic keynote international speaker, a best-selling author, and a financial guru with over 2 decades in financial literacy. She empowers audiences from corporate to collegiate to achieve financial freedom and security. Known as the Money Makeover Mogul, she's the leading authority in financial empowerment, guiding clients to six-figure plus success. The founder of Inside Inspired Women LLC, our guest equips businesswomen with life evaluating skills. And her best selling book, I Divorced My Money and Married My Mindset, redefines the perceptions of wealth. And then with 3 doctorate degrees, not one, not two, but 3 different doctorate degrees,
Wow.
she has been awarded a wealth of certificates and including the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. She's been featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, and more. And most importantly than anything else, she has the distinction of being married to me. Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen of the Manspace Nation, I
Yeah.
need you to give it up for our guest, Dr. Tabatha Russell.
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome to the show, Dr. Tabitha. How are you?
Well,
I am fantastic.
I gotta get closer to the screen. Hey, sis, what's up?
Good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm just sitting here. I normally make a joke about everything,
Yes.
But as it took him 15 minutes to read your biography, I was like, man, I didn't know I was standing next to such greatness. You was in my midst, always just right there. Don't do that. Get over there. Go sit down.
I'll stab you.
I'll stab you. Bro, it ain't none of that a lie, ladies and gentlemen. That is the truth.
Yes.
She threatened me every single day. Man, that's why I call her my sister.
Yes.
Because she ain't she threatened me, but she didn't do it. Some of them other crazy ones probably would have did it. That's my sister right there. That's my sister.
Look,
Way before that big yellow dude was my brother. You was there first.
That's
It was
right.
all good. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at all the awards and doctorates and
Look
everything in the background, Les.
Man, I had to change this. Look, did you see I'm looking at the screen like this? I'm looking at the bottom of my bifocal. The bottom of the glass.
All the books in the background that she's written. Boy, she's been busy. She's been busy.
I see. Hey, man.
Yes, I am most grateful. Most grateful.
You deserve every accolade that you have.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
I'm so honored to be here on tonight.
Yes. Straight from the hood.
It only took her 4 years of being downstairs before she finally got on the show.
Yeah. She was like, what y'all doing up there? I need to get on that show.
I've threatened to come and kick the door in a couple of times.
Right.
Hey, listen, I already knew that was going to happen. I was just wondering when you was just going to be busting and be like, what y'all talking about?
Y'all having a good time.
Y'all having too much fun.
Yes.
I get threatened all the time. It sounds like y'all had a good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey. You just stay in there and go to sleep, girl. That's all.
I love it. The show is absolutely phenomenal. Y'all have been doing such an amazing job with it. I get compliments all the time about how great the show is. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep up the good work. This is so awesome to just even have this opportunity to sit in with you guys on tonight.
Thank you.
So
we definitely appreciate you
spending
the time and joining us and the opportunity to talk about finances, because that's something that really we all really need to get control of. And so many people in today's time are living check to check, and they're not, they don't think about balancing a budget. They don't think about, that rainy day fund. They don't think about, the what ifs. So, today's show is all about trying to get control and talk about saving some money for the Manspace Nation. So we're glad to have you on. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
See that the professional speaker. Look, both of y'all not gonna do me bad today. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna just because y'all a married couple, y'all not gonna do me bad today. Okay, I'm gonna turn on my professional voice too.
Yes. Let's see if you can get professional. Go ahead. Get your professional voice on, Les.
Alabama.
Yes. All right.
So, Dr. Tabatha Russell, I have a couple quick questions for you. Would you
Okay.
mind? Would you mind helping me out?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. So, I think we all know that money is one of the biggest reasons for divorce, right?
It is.
But what are some of the most common misconceptions about financial planning, and how can couples stop falling into those traps?
Well, the one thing that I know is that communication is everything. And so um, I find often that people don't talk about money enough because with finances in the household, let's just talk about how we were raised, right?
Yeah.
I know for me in my household when I was growing up, the conversation of money was never brought up. However, I saw great examples of how my mother was an excellent budgeter, how she would, I mean, spend money down to the absolute penny. And today, she's even better at that because look at how many things have changed since then, right?
Right, right.
But we've never sat down and had the conversation of, this is how you should do that, this is how you set your budget up. And so it's the same way a lot of times those behaviors translate or it follows you into adulthood. And so what I find is that most husbands and wives don't sit down and have the conversations about the money, how much is being spent, how, let alone, a lot of times we know what's coming in, but as far as what's going out and where it's going to, we don't have those conversations. And so when it comes down to a bill needing to be paid, or there not being enough money there to cover the bills
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
at the end of the month or buy groceries for that matter, then that's where the challenges come in at. But we can sometimes mitigate that or avoid that altogether if we have those, come to the family meetings.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
my shopping account be getting raided. You know,
Look, but at least you have one, right? At least you have a shopping
well,
account.
what's left of it? What's
Well,
left of it?
look, at least you have the mindset though to put something aside. What
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
that I see is that everybody puts it all in one bucket and expect
Hmm.
everything to be paid out of that one bucket. And
Right.
sometimes that's not the best thing to do for
Yeah,
some
yeah.
families. For some families that works and for other families that don't. And
I agree.
so I tell everybody that you should diversify your accounts as much as possible, meaning that I like to shop. I'm just gonna
Yeah, she
say it.
does.
With that, it's in my budget though. From
Right.
day one, when we first got together, that was one thing that was in our agreement that would be something that I could do as long as it was in my budget. Now, if it went outside of my budget, me myself already knew that potentially I just didn't need it or I wouldn't get it right now. And
Mm,
so with having that into the budget, it allows you though to have a level of comfort in knowing that you can still continue to have that lifestyle
yeah,
without having to compromise. And what happens is that because a lot of families have to cut back so much, there's never any growth. It is almost impossible for you to continue to grow at an exponential rate when you're always cutting back
yeah.
because it is a lack mindset for a lot of families that they don't allow themselves to think beyond their current circumstances when they're always cutting back. And
Yeah.
so diversifying their accounts allows them to be able to do that and hopefully avoid some of those difficult situations or conversations.
Yep. Hmm. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you very much. That was very insightful.
So some of the things about changing that lack mindset,
Mhm.
is the in case stuff happens, right?
Mhm.
We all know that, cars break down, there's medical emergencies, there's home repairs that they need to happen. So how important is it for individuals or couples to have an emergency fund? And what guidelines do you suggest in determining the size of what that emergency fund should be?
Yes, every family should have an emergency fund. And the reason why I say that is because let's face it, the cost of everything is not going down, right?
Right.
We all probably can remember when bread used to be $1, gas was $2, and eggs, you could go in and get a dozen at a reasonable price, even a gallon of milk. Well, today, I mean, you kind of have to rethink your grocery list when you're going
Mhm.
to the grocery store because 2 bags is like $100. So, with that being said, there's 67% of households, American households, that are one paycheck away from poverty, meaning that they
Mm,
live paycheck to paycheck. And
mm,
with that, a $400 emergency throws everything off. I mean, almost at the point of you've already spent your next paycheck. And so, with that, having an emergency fund allows them to be able to have some cushion there. Now, the size of the emergency fund is determined by the family's expenses. So, let's just say a family of four, their expenses is $4,000 a month. Well, in the grand scheme of things, maybe their emergency fund is probably only 3 months, right? But that will also mean that you're going to put aside $12,000 for that particular emergency fund, right? Because it's going to cover all of your living expenses. However, let's just look at it this way: a new set of tires is $1,000. If you
Right.
had to have a medical emergency, I don't know what the average copay is, 250, 500, 1500, $2,500 these
Hmm.
days. As
Right.
well as if something happens to the pet or whatsoever, vet fees are super expensive. So with that being said, you want to make sure that you have things covered in the sense of where you don't have to go into your savings, or you don't have to borrow from your paycheck and different things like that. So everybody's situation sometimes can be different based upon whatever their current situations are. So plan accordingly is what I say. If, for example, that family only had left in their budget where they could afford to put aside $100, $50, or whatever, putting aside something definitely helps when an emergency comes. That way, you're not reliant upon credit cards or relying upon having to borrow the money and different things like that. So it is very wise that every family look at their situations and put aside an emergency fund for sure.
I like that.
I had to go to the pharmacy to pick up some medicine because, Les and I've talked about it on the show. I've been sick for
Mhm.
several weeks. So I had to go to the pharmacy to pick up some medicine. And I'm standing there waiting to pay for mine. And this older gentleman, and he's probably, in his early 70s, and he's picking up a prescription for his wife. And I hear the pharmacy tech saying, "Hey, uh, these two are already paid for, but do you want this third one?" He's like, "Yeah, my wife needs it." And she said, "It's kind of expensive." He's like, "How expensive is it?" And she said $328 for this one medicine.
Ooh.
You know, eh, something like
Ooh.
that.
Right.
And it forces you to think of whether or not I have it and it's
Mhm.
covered,
Mhm.
or I need to make changes and say, all right, well, let me look at my basket and what things I don't need. You know,
Mhm.
it's tough. Just
Right.
something just as simple as that can just throw
Right.
your whole thing off.
Agreed. And people are deciding whether or not they're going to eat over getting
Hmm.
their medicine. And
Right.
that is the sad truth that we have today. And if we're experiencing that, if our parents are experiencing that, can you imagine what our children will experience if we don't
Right.
instill in them the
Mhm.
habits of saving money, of putting money aside, of diversifying their expenses? Like everything should be in a bucket. You want to go on a vacation? Well,
Yeah.
let's see how
Yep.
much is in the vacation fund.
I
You
agree.
want to, go out and buy some new clothes. Well, do you have money in that particular fund? If you want to go out and go grocery shopping, well, how much do you have allocated for your grocery shopping? I mean, not to say that it should be that technical, But let's face it, the cost of things are going up so much that sometimes you have to be that technical in order for you to be able to say, I have money set aside for my retirement. I have
Mhm.
money set aside for my 401k or my child's education, different things like that. Like everything is considerably going up. So we have the opportunity right now to help the younger people by helping them to understand that it's important that they save for a rainy day, and they decide on right then in the moment, do I have to have this or not? It's okay for individuals to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, no, we're not going to go on that vacation. We might have a staycation and we're just going to take the time off, right? Maybe we might
Right.
not go anywhere, but we're gonna enjoy the time that we do have off. Or what's more cost effective that we can do to where it's not going to be so expensive. So these are some of the decisions that we have to instill in those that are coming behind us, that they think about those same things as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think people need to really pay
Mhm,
attention to that. But in
mhm,
this age of especially credit cards and stuff like that, you know, but today, people have these debit cards now that are linked right to their banking account on their phones. You
mhm,
know, I feel like people don't take the time to track their expenses
mhm.
and use the B word, budget,
Budget, right?
the good B word.
That's
Right?
right.
What are some of the practical tips for budgeting that you see and managing expenses, effectively? You
Hmm.
know, and are there any specific apps or tools that you would recommend for tracking, controlling personal spending habits? Because I
Yeah.
need them. I need them, sis. Help me. Help.
Look, if I didn't know any better, that would be a different story. However, for the sake of your question,
Yeah.
I would say that everything needs to go on the budget. What I find that people make mistakes with is that they don't put everything in the budget. For example, eating out is one of the biggest common mistakes that people go wrong in their budget because it's not properly allocated for.
Mhm.
Another thing is accounting for gas, right? Like in our vehicles and different things like that. Like sometimes we may not always account for that. We don't account for the Starbucks run, the
Mm.
the uh, the little convenience store, different things like that. All of that
Grab
stuff adds
snacks.
up. Look,
Grab snacks.
those little $5 runs add up, right?
Hey, hey, they be killing me, but I know that dude right there, he be getting
Look,
lit. I know he
look,
get lit. He's
every
he sent me a
flavor.
picture today. He sent me a picture today of something new. I said, I'm not messing with him. I mean, he gotta his allocation gotta be good. See, because
Yes, absolutely. And
dang.
so, but the way that we have our setup is that it's a moving target, right? Like we
Mhm.
don't just set it and forget it. We go back and we look at it every so often to see how it needs to change, right? Like
Yeah.
we had 5 kids at the house at one time, right? It's
Mm.
kind of expensive to be able to
Woo.
feed all of them and put clothes on them and all
Tell me
that kind
about
of stuff. Well, as they go out of the house, the money frees up and different things like that. So
Mhm.
now with it just being the two of us, it is moving and it's fluid. Now, I can't say that that works for everybody, right? But with that, as you're filling out your budget, you want to make sure that you account for, of course, all the money that you have coming in. And for most people, that's their 9 to 5. However, when you are putting in your budget and you're setting it together, be realistic with it, right? Put what the projected target is and go back and fill out what the actual is. So that way you know what you're spending specifically per month. Now, there's an app that I like. It's called Rocket Money. A lot of
it.
people see it all the time. That helps you to now track everything because you can attach your accounts to it and it will break it down for you. So that way you get to see actually, and it will
Woo,
send you a note saying, okay,
Lord.
you spent $100 more than last week. You spent $100 less than last week. It is keeping up with it for you.
Now
And
hold on.
so
Is that to my personal phone or do this go to the family?
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no,
It's
no.
just me, right?
Look, however you set that up, if you set it up on your phone
Yeah, yeah.
with your account,
For
with
me, yeah, yeah.
your information that is tracking your stuff.
Okay, okay,
Now,
okay, okay.
if you attach the family account and
Yeah,
the
no.
family's
Woo,
information,
Lord Jesus.
then it becomes community information.
Yeah, I don't
Now,
have no, I ain't trying to have no
now,
community info.
now, now we laugh at it, right? But it's a real thing.
I
The
know.
more information that you can put into these systems like this, the better the output becomes, right?
Mhm.
There's also tools. Well, let's say Merrill Lynch, for example, on retirement and things like that. They'll tell you the percentage of where you are for your retirement, saying that, in the next 20, 30 years, you'll be at XYZ dollars and different things like that. So
Mhm.
there's so many apps out there that can help you to track where it is that you are currently and where it is that you're wanting to go. So you can actually have it to tell you at different expenditures what you need to do and what you could potentially do better as well. So I would say using stuff like that definitely helps, but also being sure that you account for all that stuff, right? Like the beard oil, them haircuts that you like to get. Wait a minute, no, you cut your
Yeah,
own hair. Never mind.
you
But
know, you
but
know
for
me.
the average person that needs to go to the barber shop, right?
Yeah.
Getting hair done and nails done and all
Mm-mm.
that kind of stuff. Sometimes you got to be realistic. Can I afford to get these things done, or do I need to fall back just a little bit, right? And that's okay. But I tell everybody that as you set your budget up, be okay sometimes with not being okay if you can't keep up with the Joneses, right?
Yeah.
If you can't do the niceties right now, it will allow you, though, it's your accountability tracker. That's what a budget is, really, is an accountability tracker where it allows you to be able to see where you are as well as where you're going. Our issue as a society is we don't like to write nothing down. We don't
Yeah.
like to track anything. We don't want anybody in our business. We don't want them to know X, Y, and Z, right?
Right.
Having that type of mentality is what's been keeping us down so long, right? From the standpoint of, I don't want to see you get ahead, so I'm just not
Yeah.
gonna fool with
I'm
you.
not
Like,
going to
I'm
tell
not
you
gonna
what I'm
support your
doing.
business.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do any of that kind of stuff, as opposed to saying, let's link together and let's see how we can make it better by pushing one another. So
Right.
that's
Right.
my 2 cents on budgeting. We can definitely get to where it is that we're trying to go, but we just got to be realistic about it sometimes a little bit more.
Yeah. I try, but it runs away from me sometimes.
Your
I
Mhm.
just,
budget.
yeah, my budget, it just get
Uh-huh.
gone. It's like a track star. It just be running down the street.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I had to
Well,
go
see,
get it.
I'm a techie, right?
mhm,
I love technology, but I just started using Rocket Money that you just mentioned, and I do like it, just for that aspect of being able to track my money. Um, but I also use an app called Acorns, right?
mhm,
And
Mm,
Acorns allows
rounds up.
me to, yeah, it rounds up. So every time I
Mhm.
use my debit card, it rounds up and puts the change into a savings account, and then
mhm,
I can also dedicate a certain amount of money every month that it will take out and put into this account. So I can save it up for, rainy day funds, or I can save it up to the end of the year, use it as a Christmas fund or whatever, and pull that money out. And then I just have
mhm,
this lump sum of money that I've saved up to be able to
mhm,
use it. Acorns now has also gone into the point of investing.
mhm,
So you can take some of that money and invest it into the market as well. I use Robinhood and I do some investments as well. Dosh is another app that I use where it does also the roundup, and it does it on certain products that you purchase. Like you can go over to Burger King and Dosh will kick back money into your account, and
mhm,
say, "Oh, bing bing, you just used your card at Burger King. Here's some money to put in your savings account. Oh,
Mm,
mhm,
you just went to the Nike outlet. Boom, here's some money to put in your savings account, right?" So Dosh is one of those other things out there. But as technology advances and changes, how should we like embrace technology and use it for our better in trying
mhm.
to budget and finance?
Yeah, I would say as technology continues to get better, you want to utilize these tools to your advantage, right? It makes life so much easier. What I've seen over the course of time is that people have been scared to jump on the technology bandwagon, right? Using the different apps and things like that. Can you imagine how much time you save out of the course of your day, your week, your month by being able to see everything right there on your app at your disposal? At times past, we had to literally sit and write that stuff down. Or when we got a little bit more advanced, we would keep it in the computer and have a spreadsheet
Hmm.
and different things like that. Well, we don't have that where we have to do that anymore. So that can't be our excuse. And so, with that, the more that we can continue to work towards uh, utilizing these different tools, these different apps, I would always say go with something that's going to be a little bit more cost effective, where it's not going to cost you a lot of money to be able to have these apps on your phone, and it's right there at your fingertips. So it helps you to know a lot of times that you are being held accountable because you have the app right there. Everybody today has a smartphone and they always have it with them. So, because you always have that smartphone with you, it allows you to be able to keep up with everything right there at your fingertips. It is so much easier. And so, I would say that if you have never, downloaded an app, if you've never used the app or anything like that, then now would be a good time to start, right? The good thing about it is that most of the time the app is going to do the heavy lifting for you. You might have to put your information in there and all of that, but it's going to send you a reminder. It's going to send you good tips about how you can be more cost effective with your dollars, as well as it's going to help you to see what it is that you're working towards right there in front of you.
So, with you recently getting your real estate license, um, how do you, I guess, plan for or how would you advise couples to save for big financial goals like buying a home or even retirement? Like, what type of long-term saving strategies do you suggest?
Yeah, I would definitely say that retirement and buying a home are two of the largest decisions that you're going to make next to getting married and having children, right? So
Hmm.
with that, we know that to buy a home today, it used to be that the average home was 100,000, 150,000 across America, in most states. Well, today that very same home is 250 to $300,000. The
Right.
market has gone up that much. So a lot of times it is best to shop backwards, and that's in everything. If you're going to buy a home, it is great for you to go out and talk with a real estate person like myself or a mortgage lender to see how much home you can buy. And so, as you determine that, it allows you now to see where you are in your financial journey. That also sets you up for success rather than failure. Can you imagine going out, looking at a home, and you fall in love with this home? You absolutely have feel like you have to have it, right? With that, now you go and you get the money, you apply for the loan, and you can't get financed for it. That's a
Mm,
sad day.
yeah.
And so I always say when it comes to big purchases, shop backwards. Get your money first, get your credit rating, find out how much home you can afford, and then go out and shop. It is nothing like going on, I say a car lot, right? And you walking up there and be like, I want that one. After
Right.
you've done your homework, you got your money in your purse and you're ready to buy that car. It's nothing like that feeling. I mean, you even walk a little different when you go in the dealership, right? And
Yeah.
so it's the same way with buying a house or planning for retirement. You seemingly do that with calculated decisions. And so I tell
Hmm.
everybody to make sure that you are making those type of decisions wisely. And there's nothing wrong with having the numbers first before you make a decision. And so it allows you to be able to make an informed decision, is what I call it. And so an informed decision says that this is how much money I can afford. My credit is in a great place where I need it to be. I have the money available to make a down payment if necessary, as well as this is, the neighborhood that I researched that I would like to be in. This is the type of home I would like to have as well. And so it allows you to be able to make that decision without feeling the pressure of just settling. And so sometimes I've seen where a lot of people have settled because they have not been able to get what it is that they want. So because I can't get what I want, I'll take the next best thing of whatever they give me. And so with that, you can do the same thing as you are planning for retirement. As you're planning for retirement, a lot of times for most people, it could look a little bit like, depending upon your age of retirement, your current expenses, and how many years you're going to need to have money available for that determines what that potentially looks like. And so between now and then, how you prepare for that is sitting down with a financial planner. Like, most people don't know that most of their banks, even the bank that you bank with today, has a financial manager. That financial
Mm,
manager's job is to sit down and give you advice on whatever financial expenses that you're getting ready to do based upon
mm,
your situation. And so
got it.
sitting down and talking with that person and allowing them to run the numbers for you sets you up for success. A lot of times we make these decisions in a vacuum. We want to be, uber rich, live in a fancy house, drive the best of cars, and put
Hmm.
ourselves in a situation of where if something happens, now we're challenged, where you can do it backwards and go get your money or sit down and talk with somebody, determine what that looks like, and make sure that even with your current retirement, like a lot of people that I talk to, they say, oh yeah, I got a retirement. And so I
Hmm.
asked them how much you have putting in there and what percentage of your goal that you're at right now, and they can't answer the question.
Mm,
So successful people always know their numbers, whatever that is. And so
Mm, I
as
like that.
you as you are preparing for the big expenses, buying a house, buying a car, or preparing for retirement, you want to know what those are so you can make an informed decision.
mm.
That is awesome. Growing up, I've always heard that you have to save 7 to 10% when you get ready to buy a house. Is that something that still should be a target goal for people trying to save to purchase?
Yeah, I would say with the way that things have been changing, everybody's situation is different.
Hmm.
With the market here lately, the amount of house you used to be able to afford looks nothing like what you can afford today.
Yeah.
So I
You're
will
right.
say that there's a lot of programs out there that will get you down to where you can put down about 3% on average. Sometimes it's a little bit more, but all of that is dependent upon your credit. So this is why I say that sometimes sitting down and going through the motions of getting your financing first, or talking with a mortgage lender or even a real estate agent, can help you to know where you are kind of in the process, right? And you being able to do that determines what that looks like, because one of my clients that I sold a home to before, they had excellent credit, right?
Mhm.
Everything looked really good, but the market was where their
Was
interest
bad.
rate was almost 8%
Woo!
on a $300,000 home.
Woo!
Now, if that won't make you sit up straight and pay attention, I will say that I don't know what else will. And so with that, they're bringing to the table for closing, almost $13,000. And so
Wow.
with that can be a lot for a lot of people. That's a large percentage of their yearly annual income. So,
Mm,
with that being said, buying a house today is not like how it used to be, but there's still the opportunity because the market is now starting to go back down. So, As the market goes down, the availability comes back, as well as the government is doing some things to where there's still some programs out there that can help people to get into home, first time buyers and different things like that. I know the USDA, they have a couple of different programs where if you're building in a rural area, that they will help you as well. So having that 7 to 10% is always a good rule of thumb, because once you get that home, 9 times out of 10, you're going to want some new furniture, or you may
Right.
need to buy some new furniture, even if you don't want them, because most of the time, most people buy with the intention of being able to expand on their home and different things like that.
We sitting on U-Haul boxes. That's how I'm getting down. I'm gonna invite you over. We sitting on U-Haul boxes.
Look, that's all right. Hey, if
Yeah.
it works for you, that's all right.
Because my budget is still running up the street. I ain't got that.
Not with a Harley in the driveway, sir. Not with
Hey,
a Harley in the driveway.
Hey. That's why it's running up the street. That's why it's called a street glide. It just glides.
Look, not with
right
a GoPro attached. Not with a GoPro attached.
You're doing too much, girl. You're doing too much. Look, sis. Excuse me, Dr. Tabatha.
Mhm.
I do have one more question for you, and it's serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm having a problem because I want to know why you like pumpkin spice. I just got that little bitty issue. Just that little bitty issue. I said it as respectfully as I possibly could. Because me and your husband, we about to throw up on this platform for our listeners multiple times.
Multiple times.
Multiple times we have almost thrown up. But then the word has come to hit the streets. My sister, Dr. Tabatha, like pumpkin spice. And I feel like that's a whole, you're going against the grain here.
All against the grain.
Well,
We family. We supposed to be going the same route.
I was going to say somebody got to be different now. If we were all the same, life would be dull and boring. I'm just saying.
That's the biggest cop out of an answer. I set that up for you. I laid that one all the way out there for you. And you just took that and ran with it. We just gonna be different.
Oh gosh.
No, you different. Okay.
We are running out of time in this episode, but however, Dr. Tabatha, can you share with us what you're working on next, and how can the Manspace Nation follow you, find out more information about you?
Yes, thank you so much. It has been such an honor to be here with you on tonight. I do have the Powerful on Purpose Summit coming up February 24th, 2024, here in Columbia, South Carolina, where I'm bringing in speakers from around the country that have absolutely amazing stories that they're sharing about victory, of triumph, of how they've overcome so many different challenges, from financial situations to relationships to health challenges. And I will say that it is unlike anything that you've ever experienced. So if you are available, come out. It's going to be at the Gala Event Center, 2100 Bush River Road in Columbia, South Carolina. We start bright and early at 9 a.m. Such an amazing networking event as well. I do bring in a lot of individuals that have massive platforms that are doing great things around the world as well. So it is a dual purpose. We're going to have vendors. We're going to eat really good because I'm bringing in catering and all of that. So that's going to be next on the platform. We do have some other things coming up during the year, a virtual event where we're going to put hundreds of people on our platform, as well as we're going to be traveling around the country, sharing the good news of empowerment, inspiration, financial literacy, which is the core of my being. So with that being said, I do have a new book that's going to be coming out really soon. It is called mindset metamorphosis. And the reason why we're going to talk about that is that everything starts in our mind first before it manifests. So we need to think about what we're thinking about. And those are the things that I have coming up.
Well, I swear, I knew it. I knew it. He be stealing his material from you, the doctor. That's the real doctor right there.
And we're going to break. Thanks.
That's the real
nice
doctor
nice
right
having
there.
you on.
Yeah.
Nice having you on. Appreciate you.
That's the one. No more inspiration hour from you. It comes from a doctor.
Look, that's
Dr.
all.
Tabatha,
That's
can you give your handles real quick, please?
Absolutely. You can follow me at my website, drtabatharussell.com, as well as on all social media platforms at I am Dr. Tabatha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
I am Dr. Tabatha. Such a nice, wonderful time seeing you again and having this time, even if it was just an hour.
Look, I appreciate it. It's been a minute.
I know.
I'm so glad to see you. I hear very good things about you. I'm glad all is well.
Oh, ain't that sweet? I know they didn't come from Russ, because me and him, we'll get along sometime. But it's okay, though.
I understand.
You do?
Understand.
All right. Don't eat no more pumpkin spice. I'm going to have to get rid of you. Love you, girl. Love you, girl.
Love you too, bro. Have a good one.
All right.
Y'all take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
As we do each week, we like to close the show with just a little bit of inspiration. This past weekend, I was driving down a 2-lane road trying to get to my destination. And out of nowhere, this car comes flying up behind me and gets so close to my bumper that he could see what radio station I was listening to by looking through my back window. The speed limit was 55, but I was doing about 60. The speed limit eventually goes from 55 to 45 and then down to 35. But I couldn't slow down or even tap my brakes because he would have hit me. It gets to a fork in the road and you can go left or right, but essentially you can get to the same spot either direction you go. I went right, he went left. So when I got to my destination, there he was getting out of his vehicle. I was telling my wife, was it worth it to go flying that fast? We got there within seconds of each other. It got me thinking, Man Space Nation, you don't have to run at everybody else's pace. You can take the same path, but just because someone else wants to speed through doesn't mean that you have to. Go at your pace. Do whatever is comfortable for you. You see, success is not just about reaching the destination, but it's also about the joy found in the journey. See, we spend so much time trying to speed to the outcome instead of enjoying the ride. Man Space Nation, you miss way too much when you try to run at someone else's pace.
Man, let me tell you something. I needed to hear that today. For my personal life. I'm running a race and I'm not happy with the race.
Yeah.
And that just resonated with me. So thank you. That just helped, solidify what I was thinking. So I'm not even gonna go into nothing crazy today. I'm just gonna say thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
You're very welcome, my friend. I have nothing else to add to the show. We're over our time limit, so we're just going to go ahead and get out of here. So on that note,
we out of here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Man Space.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Man Space updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at manspacenat1.
Until next time, Manspace Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
Out of here.